I'm Chrissy, the podcaster with Knitting in the Heights, and it is a very hot day here today in New York City and very humid and kind of disgusting and gross. Excuse my hair, but that would be the New York summer for you. Just wanted to pop on today because I got some goodies in the mail that I wanted to share with you guys. So I am actually putting together a lovely advent calendar for my friend Josh. So I talked about this before, but Josh has never had a knitting advent because he just started knitting again. And being a professional musician and teacher, and by teacher, I don't mean like certified classroom teacher with a salary, but like part-time teacher for a bunch of different nonprofit organizations, and having his own private viola studio, violin studio. He just doesn't have a lot of extra money lying around, you know. None of us do really that live in New York City, that are real people. So I decided to put together a Yarny advent calendar for him because I have tons of like leftovers and mini skeins that I hadn't even broken into that I'm more than willing to split with him. So I basically took, I found 24 minis and I decided, let's go for it. Let's make this a really special advent calendar. So I put goodies in every single little bag. As I was saying, that would be mean and cruel to actually open these up and show them because he's probably one of the people that will actually watch this podcast. So here's an example of a bag, and inside, as I was saying, there's a mini skein of yarn in here along with some treats, like some foodie, candy-y, drinky kind of treats, as well as there's something usually knitting related in each one of these bags. So I made 24 of them. They're very cute. I got them off of Amazon. They came with the stickers, and each one is completely, looks different. They have a different picture on them, so they're super cute. So preparing 24 of those, I'm waiting for one more Etsy delivery to finish completing. So like, you know, everybody needs the accoutrements that go along with knitting. So there might be things in there. I don't even want to say what's in there because I don't want to ruin the surprise for him. But anyway, there's little things in there, and hopefully he'll share them with us when we do Vlogmas. I'm going to invite him to actually shoot a video, and I can add it here so you can see the advent calendar that I created for him. I think it's super fun, and I really enjoy making gifts like that for friends. So I did 24 of these bags, but then I'm also doing a Christmas Day bag, and that Christmas Day bag is going to have lots of goodies in there for him. Again, not going to share what they are. But since I got some things for his advent calendar, I also bought some things for myself because shipping just makes sense to get the free shipping. And there were some project bags in particular I was like eyeing for a while. And I have a ton of yarn. I do have a fair number of project bags, but I would love to have better storage in general. So I used to make my own project bags, and since I don't have my sewing machine anymore in New York City, some of those project bags are really well worn. Like they are starting to get holes in them because they're like 6 years old now, 7 years old. So I'm starting to like transition from the project bags that I made that were, some of them were not handmade, they were homemade. And what I mean by that is I didn't have much quality control. There's a couple of bags I have made that I really do like. There's one in particular I use for my corner to corner blanket. It's humongous. I didn't measure anything, but there's a hand embroidery on it. I really like that bag. That bag I'll definitely keep. And there's a couple others that I find are really well constructed that I took the time with. And then there are others that I literally tried to sew a bunch in an hour. And I don't know if you watch Allie, from This Little Wonderful Life or, Little Drops of Wonderful podcast, but they are dodgy. They are super dodgy bags. Like, you know, there were holes in the lining and like I'd fix them, but not really well. So, and I kind of used like fabric stash, which was fun to do. And I know how to do them well, but really didn't take a lot of time with some of them. Just wanted to use up that fabric. So anyway, long story short, I got some project bags. So I'm going to start with ones by April 9 Designs on Etsy. There's her little tag. April 9 Designs on Etsy. And I got two from her. The first one I absolutely thought was just super cute. It is a very, very cute fairy and unicorn and, you know, mushroom houses and just woodland kind of bag. It's super cute. The inside what I liked about these is they actually have like a little fabric ruler inside, which is super useful. Like if you're doing socks or need to measure like a gauge swatch or something, at least you could get an idea by putting it up to that if you didn't bring a ruler with you. I think that's super cute. The inside also has pockets. Here's a pockets. So pocket, and it's very well made. It is definitely kind of, it's got batting in it. You can feel that it's pretty sturdy. So there's going to be yarn. I'm basically going to take the bags I got and like put projects in them for the ones that I know I'm going to be using for very specific projects. There's one that's going to wait for a while because I'm waiting on yarn for that. So there's that. There's this one, which I also fell in love with. It was, geez, I don't even know how to describe how this makes my heart sing, but it reminds me of Lunasa and, you know, that kind of Mabon, kind of end of summer gloriousness. If you don't know what Lunasa is, it is, and Mabon, they're both end of summer kind of harvest festival times in the kind of lunar sort of witchy calendar. But I just thought this was absolutely amazing and just beautiful. So there's this one. Again, it has the inside. Let me show you the inside. And it's got pockets. I forgot I had already just popped in the DPN holder I got from another company. So, trying to remember what company this was. I just threw away this stuff. But this is also something I got on Etsy. It's a DPN holder. So that you can see, and it says, nevertheless, she persisted. And yes, that should be my mantra for life. So nevertheless, I persist. And it's a really beautiful DPN holder that, here, I'm going to open it. Excuse any crinkles because there's plastic. This never bothers me when I see it on podcasts, but I know it bothers people. And what I like about this one in particular is it doesn't just have one snap on the side. Like, so on one side it has two. So that is so helpful because we all know that every once in a while, like one of the snaps will come undone and then stuff will come out. So it's like triply secure, which I thought was really cool. It's very sturdy. It's definitely got some interfacing inside, like a fairly sturdy one. So it's not super soft. The fabric is really beautiful. I love that kind of corally color you get in those roses. And I excuse the bed creaking. That's my everyday life. So yeah, I'll be using that on like either mittens or socks, or even just a project that, you know, I need to make sure it's secure. So that was those three things. Oh, and the zipper pulls from this maker, it says, I love yarn balls. I heart yarn balls. I think that's cute. All right, and then the other two, and these are absolutely glorious. They're from Avon Made on Etsy. Let me show you the tag. There you go. Okay, Avon Made. Oh, Levon Made. Anyway, so the first one, and this one I'm going to save because there is a very specific project I'm going to put in here. What is this glorious raccoon? It's like this Technicolor gloriousness. It's the same on both sides. So basically this pattern was fussy cut. And then there's this really cool embroidery pattern that was clearly done with a sewing machine. In fact, I'm pretty sure the sewing machine I have does that embroidery pattern. What a cool idea. And the inside, there are no pockets, but that's okay. It's got a polka dot lining and it's so, so cute. When I saw this, I was like, oh, this is glorious. And then for Halloween things, and I know exactly what's going in here. Actually, no, it's going in both. And what's going in both is actually mittens. One for me and one for somebody else in my life who I really, really care for. So here is the one that I'm going to put my mittens in because my mittens have a very witchy theme. And this, if this isn't witchy, I don't know what else. It's very Halloween. So it's got bats and moons and stars, and it's just great. And I mean, it doesn't have to just be for Halloween. And look at the zipper pull. The zipper pull is a bat. And the zipper pull on the other one, I'll show you in a minute. It's sort of like this raccoon fox thing. And then it's very Beetlejuice on the inside. Loving it. Love it so much. And they're very, very well constructed, both of these bags. So here's the zipper pull. In fact, I have this charm as a stitch marker. So that might have to eventually live in there with those mittens. But yeah, so these are going to be mitten bags, at least for the first projects. And yeah, I'm very excited about that. So I just wanted to pop on. It was so hot today. I did not want to take out my camera because it was going to overheat in the heat because it's disgusting out. There is a heat advisory in New York City. And the rain we got yesterday did not do anything to change the humidity level or the heat. That's okay. I did take it out. I think I got a few seconds here and there. So whatever I have, I'll put onto this video. But anyway, so I'm going to be putting some yarn in these. I will come back on in a second. I'm actually going to grab some of the yarn for the projects I do have upcoming, kind of dream knitting, and I will talk about that next. I'll be right back. Okay, so after going through my yarn stash, I pulled out some things that, you know, are things that I'm dream knitting about, have been dream knitting about for a while. So the first thing, this is the pair of mitts I'm going to make for myself. These mitts, I'll insert the name here, I cannot remember, but they're so nice. And I'm going to be using these two colors together. And I do like doing color work mitts quite a bit. So the first one is called Copper Prince, and it's like a charcoal gray, and it has bronze colored sparkle. I had never seen this before, and it is so nice, and it's very, very sparkly, very, very sparkly. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. So that's gonna live in the back bag, along with, and this is by Murky Depths on the sparkle sock base, which is 70% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 10% stellina, and you get 438 yards for 100 grams. And then we got this other Murky Depths in BFL sock, which I really, really like too. Given it's kind of, these mitts will be rather autumnal looking. I think it'll be very pretty. The color is cornbread and cranberries, BFL sock. And so that's 80% British Blueface Leicester, 20% nylon, approximately 400 yards for 100 grams. And it's both of them together, I think, will make really pretty color work because there is such a high contrast and you get a lot of different colors in there, but nothing will be competing, right? So that's going to live in the back bag. So the plan is in October 1, I'm going to cast those on for myself. In the meantime, I do have my own color work mittens that I finished last year. So that's going to go in here. My raccoon bag is going to stay empty for now. I'll talk about that pattern later. Let's just say it features some color work for someone who really wants to see the Northern Lights and go to Scandinavia. So I'll talk about that when I get that yarn in. All right, the next one I'm going to put in the bunny hair bag. This is a project that I've been promising to a friend for a while. I'm going to put all the information about the pattern down below. But I'm going to be using some Craft House Magic yarn that I got from Ellie on Christmas 2020. I told the story before, but she actually, I gave her like a budget. I said, can you please pick out stuff for my children for me? And she asked me some questions and looked at my Instagram and looked at like my projects in Ravelry. And she came up with, she sent me so much yarn. It was amazing what 200 pounds in yarn with yarn and project bags and little stuff would go. Like, it was amazing. There were minis, there were all sorts of things. Anyway, she came up with this beautiful combination, which I'm going to make that shawl in. Hopefully you've seen the picture. I put it up above. So this is Craft House Magic. This colorway, I love this name. Come on, Eileen. So in my family, my mother was Kathleen. She was the eldest sister. Her next eldest sister was Colleen, who I named my daughter after. And then I have an aunt, Eileen. So in our family, which is that side of the family, is rather Irish. The song, whenever the song Come On, Eileen comes on at like a wedding, and it's always on at a wedding, everybody gets up and dances and everybody points at Eileen. So this is in her 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base, 425 meters and 100 grams. So it's a really, it's kind of a yellowy green, And my friend Liz is a huge fan of yellow, and she knows that I asked her a long time ago if she wanted the shawl. I just haven't cast it on. So once I get through some other projects, the plan is to cast this on for her. And then I have two different skeins of the same color. And it's got that kind of yellowy green in there, kind of a grello thing with all of these gray tones. And this is called These Days. This is also in 75 superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina. And it's got a silver, it's a silver stellina base. So I don't know if you can see the sparkle. I'm catching it a little bit here and there. Woo. So anyway, these colors, and in this one you can really see that kind of those pops of yellow. So together you can see it's actually the same yellow. So yeah, those are gonna make a shawl. So I'm gonna try to fit 3 skeins in this bunny bag. I didn't realize like so many of my projects are multi-skein craziness. I don't know if everything's gonna fit in some of these bags. We'll see. I'm not worried about it. We'll make it work. I mean, I can always pull out some of my larger bags and like trade and whatever. It's fine. It'll be fine. So yeah, that's a really nice project. And that actually all fits in there, all 3 skeins. All right, and then a couple more things I want to talk about for Dream Knitting. So, you know, it's time to get some socks on the needles for me in a little bit. So I have to finish this pair for Colleen that I'm working on, my daughter. And that's kind of my, when I go to the park knitting thing. And if I sat down for like 2 nights, this sock would be done. So I might just put my Botanic on hold because it's coming along. I'll show you that in a second. Because I haven't really shown that in a couple days. But the next pair of socks, I think that's not going to be made like shorty socks, like full-size socks, that I want to make are, I'm not sure if I'll just do vanilla or some simple textured pattern. I could do that. That'd be easy enough. Or I might just do a vanilla sock. I haven't done a true vanilla sock in a while, and they go fast. So I might do that. But this is from Sweet Sparrow Yarns in the Bridget colorway. It was part of the Celtic folklore and mythology club that was this last spring, spring, fall, winter, and spring, I should say, because we got Samhain yarn. So here are the colors, and it's based on Bridget, one of the patron saints of Ireland, but she is also a deity in Irish and Celtic folklore. So yeah, it's really beautiful yarn. There's lots of like kind of periwinkle, I would say. Like it's purple, but it's got a very blue purple, like right there. It looks like ink spilled on it, right? And it's got some yellows, and there's some pops of green, and then there's like, it's like a rosy colored brown almost. It's hard to see it, but there you go. But it's all kind of on this cream natural base. And so it has some really nice kind of speckly areas. It makes some really nice socks, you know, patterned, but it's pretty delicate. So, you know, you get some pops of color, but nothing overwhelming. I just don't want to, it's like, I feel like I'm doing so many other projects right now that like with all the color work I plan on doing, I want to do something a little bit more simple, that if I just need something for subway knitting or for a long trip or something on a train, I have something ready to go. And it came with a citrine progress keeper, which I'm totally saving for this. So I'm going to put that in the fairy bag because, I don't know, this feels like Bridget needs to be in a fairy bag, and it's very, very pretty. And so, yeah, I'll throw some needles in there. In fact, that DPN minder is in one of these bags. I'll just move it over. Why not? So it'll go with this. And I can just pop some of my needles because I have plenty of needles. I tend to knit my socks on a 1.5, US 1.5 needle. ChowGoo, double point team all the way. All right, I'm not a fan of Magic Loop. I don't know why. I used to, I just don't like it anymore. All right, and then a couple more dream knitting things. So I have been wanting to make Exploration Station by Stephen West for a while. In fact, there is a knit along going on as we speak. That's being hosted by Piece for Piece. Yeah, the Piece for Piece crafting podcast. So Michael is hosting a Stephen West along, and he was like, yeah, you can use whips. So I'm using the Botanic shawl, and it's running until like November 30th. Now this exploration station, it has literally been on my to make forever, and I've had these yarns forever. Not forever for real, but like forever for yarn life in a stash. And I mean, like ridiculous amounts of time. And so I'm going to make an exploration station. I have to be very careful about where each yarn gets placed, just because there are lots of similarities between the colors. But I think it will make a very beautiful, beautiful shawl. So I'm using all single ply yarns, which for a while I didn't like single ply yarns because they twisted on each other. So it was really hard to manage. So here is the first color I'm going to use is Eggplant. It's Malabrigo Machida, which is, it's like a purple that is almost black, but it is not black. It is definitely purple. It's 100% merino superwash, 100 grams, 420 yards. I've worked with this a lot. So I made a shawl at a pom-pom magazine maybe 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. I don't remember. It was 4 or 5 years ago. And it only used a skein and a half. And I thought I would use a lot more. Like I got 3 skeins of this. And so the other half a skein I used to make some mitts. It was colorwork mitts that I absolutely adored making. They were called the Witchcraft Mittens, and they were from the Norwegian knitting book. It took me forever to make, only because I just kept putting it down. Like I get cast-on-itis, and yeah, and so I will start things. Even though I love them, I'll put them down and not finish them, and then I'll come back to them and be like, I gotta finish all the things. I'm getting stressed out. I am not the kind of knitter that can have 20 different whips at once. Blankets, fine. Fine, that's okay. I don't mind if a blanket sits for years. I do, however, mind if a pair of socks sits for years. Like, as of right now, that's why I'm like, maybe I just need to bust those socks out, because if it's yet another thing I can tick off my list. And I'm trying to actually get my current works in progress to my blankets and like maybe 2 to 3 active whips. If I can do that, that'd be great. There are some reasons why some of my whips are not quite there yet, because like I'm waiting on my child to grow and to decide whether or not I'm finishing the sweater for her, that kind of thing. Or, oh, I really wanted a birthday cast on, so I started that shawl, but I've been kind of like put it to the side for now, you know. So what I'd like to do is finish off those socks, the mittens that I started before last Christmas, because that'll take me 2 or 3 days. I'd like to finish this botanic shawl. Once all that's done, I will reevaluate the sweater for Colleen, and see, do I want to make it? Am I going to frog it, save the yarn for something else? Am I going to make it for somebody else? And then I'd also like to finish that oak, I think it's, what is it, oak leaf shawl or whatever it's called, the one I cast on my birthday. Now, once I get to that point, it's probably going to be October, and I'm going to be ready to cast on the mitts. And I want to cast on actually both sets of knits, because one is planned as a Christmas present, as long as everything goes well. So the one that's going to go in the raccoon bag is going to be a Christmas present, which I'll talk about when I get the yarn. But the other ones I want to cast on, and I really feel like I need a, I'll probably cast, I always want to have socks on the needle, so I don't mind an active sock project at any time, but I only want one at a time. I do want to make socks for Gabriel. That's the other thing that I want to knit up real quickly before. I just want to use some stash yarn for that I've already broke into a ball. Maybe make some stripy socks for him out of some minis. That would be fun. But then from there, it's like, okay, let's evaluate everything. Let's only have up to 3 active projects. And I think a garment, a gift knit, and an accessory. Maybe a 4th as a sock if the accessory is not a sock. Because I think having socks on the needles just makes sense. And I like sock knitting because I can basically do it from memory, except for I can do the heel turn from memory now too. Yeah, I think, you know, yeah, it's fine. I can do it from memory. Anyway, back to Exploration Station. Sorry about the digression. The next yarn I have is called Enchanted. Yeah, and it's by Shalimar Yarns. It's really pretty. Like, it's like kind of gold and orange tones with this apple green, which is epic. So that goes with that. And then I have another, and I think these are the same, these are the same yarn. Yeah, so this is 70% superwash merino, 20% kid mohair, and 10% silk, 420 yards. This will be interesting because I tend to have like allergic reactions when I'm knitting with mohair and with, what's the other one? Like that floofy stuff, the alpaca, because I've tried and I get a sore throat every single time and start to sneeze more. And yeah, it's totally allergies. So if for some reason this doesn't work out, that would be terrible. But I'm going to try. I'm going to just take allergy medicine, get through. But I want to knit this fast, so I don't want it to sit. The next is the yarn base called Airy. So the second one, this is from the same company, same base, everything. It's like a gold color, looks like honey colored. It's called Bee's Knees, which I think is absolutely appropriate. And then the last one, this is, what is the yarn company? Dragonfly Fibers in their Pixie base. It's 100% superwash merino. It's called Bad Moon Rising. So it has a very autumnal vibe to it. So I don't know when I'm going to knit this, but this is something that is definitely on my to-do list. So I really want to just kind of focus on some projects and knock them out. And then once that's done, move on to the next one. So once something lives in a project bag, it becomes something getting close to being done, right? Or something I'm really interested in doing. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Then the only problem is then you get a lot of project bags. Like I'm starting to acquire them. And then what do? You have all these project bags. Anyway, Christmas Eve cast on. So last year I got this beautiful skein of yarn from Dandelion and Dogwood. And I think this will likely be my Christmas Eve cast on. There are a lot of contenders this year, by the way, because I have some really incredible yarns. I don't want to pull too many out, but let me actually pull a couple of options that I've been thinking of for my Christmas Eve cast on. There's one more in here. There it is. You guys saw, if you watched earlier episodes, you actually saw me get this one. So there's 3 options, and I have plenty of time to decide, but I'm going to kind of keep the 3 together. The first one is Northern Lights. This was the 25th day of the Dandelion and Dogwood advent calendar for last year. Sorry, let me move that yarn. But it's super pretty. It's on a sparkle base. It is it looks like silver, that's silver stellina. And given this idea of the Northern Lights, that's kind of been this theme recently for me. I do want to see the Northern Lights very much. And I thought that would be just a really nice, pretty knit to knit for Christmas. So that's option 1. Option 2 comes from Sweet Sparrow Yarns. This was her last year's 25th day. And this is called Cranberry Garland. And it is very cranberry-y. So it's cranberry with a few splodges of like ivy green or forest green on a very natural base. It's really pretty. So that's option 2. And option 3, if I want to go for full-on really delicate speckles, is Danjou or Danjou from Les Family Yarns. And this was from their Liberty collection. And so the colors here are like speckles of green, and it has like red and hot pink, but super delicate. Like this would make a really pretty sock that was like, if I did a pattern sock, like I would absolutely do the, oh, what is it? Fairy Lights pattern by Helen Stewart, which I have knit before. And I think I talked about last time. So yeah, not sure what I'm going to do. I mean, I could do Fairy Lights in this as well. I think that would look nice. I think with this one, I'd be more tempted to do Mistletoe Kisses sock pattern by Ellie from Craft House Magic. I have done her pattern as well. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. I have time. This one, though, you know, here's the thing. Let's see. That has nylon in it. They all have nylon in them. I just want to make sure that they have nylon because I am actually known for wearing through my socks on day 1. And then it's usually at the toe. Actually, it's always at the toe when that happens. And it's usually, I've worn it on like a day where I have to walk 5+ miles in terrible shoes. Of course, because you do in New York City. But I've literally done this like 3 times where I wore through the toe on the first day I wore the socks. But it's okay because you can always replace the toe, right? So what I would do is I'd just cut off the toes on both and just put them on. Easy peasy, 2 hours later, my socks look like totally new socks and it's fine. But yeah, I have to think about it. And maybe one of them I cast on at the beginning of December, right? But you know, I also want to save my time for Advent knitting because I want to make a sweater. That is something. So the Lay Family Yarns Advent. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I talked about this before. Did not show people. Okay, so I'm gonna make the Timely cardigan. And for my base color, for my main color, I'm using this baby blue. And it's actually even lighter in person. It's coming up pretty dark on the screen. But it is in the colorway. This is on Stroll Fingering Weight from Knit Picks. It is. Where's the colorway? I think it's 28183, which is a super baby blue. I don't know what the color is called. Maybe if I'll look it up on Knit Picks. But anyway, so I'm going to use that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 skeins. Because they're like half skeins. They're 50 grams each. Width. And this is what's so epic here. We have the Lay Family yarn. This was the Rainbow Advent. And by the way, this beautiful little sachet of what do you call it? Lavender still smells amazing. All right, I'm going to turn around my camera. Give me 1 second. So here it is in all of its glory. So I put it in rainbow order. So we're starting. I think I'm going to start. I don't know. I really like the pinks and stuff. I have to decide what I want closest to my face. But anyway, this is in kind of a rainbow order. I ordered it in rainbow order. And this was such a pleasure to open because each day was slightly different than the next day. Oh my gosh. But all. So I think I counted on the sweater. 40 something stripes. So my thought is, since there's 24 of these different colors, and I'd have to do the math, but I'm thinking 2 stripes per color seems reasonable. And that means I'll have leftovers, which will be glorious too, because I'd love to play with them. The other thing is, you know, I was kind of worried about the blues being too close of a match, but even looking here, you can see one's a little bit more green. That's probably the closest color. But let's see this one. Yeah, even this one's the greener than this blue. And then the one that's even more blue than that, like it's probably the closest, it has cream. So I think I will use all of these colors. But yeah, I'm thinking 2 stripes a piece would be great. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then I got some really fun buttons that I'm going to put on it. I first found some in Michigan. I'm like, oh, these are perfect. But it wasn't enough. Because of course, why would I get enough buttons for the project? But they are wooden buttons that are purportedly hand painted. They're not hand painted. They are definitely painted by a machine. But anyway, they're super cute and they're wooden. And the only question is, how careful do I need to be when I wash the garments? So I don't know. I have to do a little research on that because I don't want to wreck the buttons. But I have loads of extras. I got the rest off of Etsy. They're not expensive. And apparently I found out you can get them pretty cheap on Amazon. But I'm glad I went through Etsy instead. Support small business when possible, you know? Although Jeff does make a lot of deliveries to this house because it is easier to go through the Amazon than to just up the street to a store and go schlep on a subway. Terrible, I know, but the Amazon is closer. All right, friends. So it's me from the future because I totally forgot to show my botanic shawl that I promised. I was just editing the video. So here is the progress. You can see I'm finally getting 2 color changes, some like significant enough color changes you can see. But yeah, it's coming swimmingly. It's like super easy now, like very potato chippy kind of I can do other things and do this. Like, I did find when I get really tired, I sometimes forget the slips. There's slip stitches, so I was forgetting it. But it's so easy to correct, even if you make a mistake, that you can just correct it. So I am in, I think, the 10th repeat. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm on the 10th repeat of this pattern. I think there's 25 repeats I gotta do, and it gets bigger. So it's coming. No stress. Here's the first colored ball, so you can see. I'll compare it with the other one right now. Yeah, it's getting smaller. So yeah, enjoying it, and really enjoying it, actually. Super easy, fun knit, but getting a bit on the big side. All right, bye. All right, friends, I'm definitely signing off because my little boy keeps coming and saying, 1 more minute, 1 more minute, 1 more minute. All right, have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.